In 2017, Samsung released one of its greatest features, the Samsung DeX. This basically allowed you to use your mobile phone as a desktop. And that's it. That's all I needed to hear. So I went on Facebook Marketplace and found an official DEX Hub, which went for $60. I paired that with my Samsung S8, and all you need to do is connect your phone to a monitor, and you can either share your screen or completely change your phone to become a desktop. So I thought to myself, why don't I just make a tiny PC for the purpose of playing Peak Fiction? I mainly chose to use the DeX pad itself because it comes with 2 USB ports, an HDMI port, and a fast charging port, which would allow me to have as many peripherals as I need by utilizing the ports that it's designed to work with. The Samsung DeX comes with a fast charger, a power brick, and its own HDMI cable in the box. And then I moved on to the 3D modeling, creating a mini PC with a spot where the DeX pad was going to sit on. If you like the content or you're new here, please like and subscribe. The general idea was to print this thing in one piece and keep it as small as possible because my 3D printer isn't that big. So after I printed the entire thing, I also had to print the supporting pieces, which is the diffuser and the rear vents. And speaking of vents, the front piece had a vent that I was going to place a server fan to bring in as much air as possible because the DeX pad has a fan, but it's not very powerful. I printed the rest of the supporting pieces, which is the rear vent and the microcontroller clip. Since I was using a DC fan, it only had 2 cables, a positive and a negative, so I connected it to a PWM switch that's usually used for RC cars. This way, the microcontroller could tell it to turn on and off using a PWM protocol. All the electronics were going to be powered by a 5-volt power supply, which was the DeX Hub in this case. I then moved on to the lighting. I had these LED matrices laying around, so I thought to use them to give the entire case some character. All the electrical components were going to be controlled by a microcontroller, which is the Raspberry Pi Pico. Mostly chose it because it had enough GPIO pins and it has the capacity to communicate with the phone through the USB serial. Once I got the Raspberry Pi Pico and all the LEDs and fans connected, it was just a matter of putting everything together. I made sure every piece here was either friction fitted or used screws to be mounted. The placement of the fan was just going to be right in front of the DeX pad itself, which would allow the air to go directly underneath the phone and help carry the hot air out the back. The rest of the components used standoffs and screws so I could place the 2 LED matrices side by side. The microcontroller was going to be mounted on the roof of the case, encased in a little bracket. And then I screwed on the diffuser for the LED matrices. I personally like the way it looks, probably because I'm the one that made it. But here's how the system works. I can use the phone itself as a keyboard or mouse, but in my case I'm only using it as a trackpad. And I have an app that can be used to control the fan as well as the LED matrices, so when the phone overheats it starts the fans up. When it came to the gaming aspect, it performed the way a phone from 8 years ago could perform. It wasn't the smoothest, but it performed well enough where I didn't find it to be an issue at all. In fact, sometimes I would have so much fun that I forgot that I was playing on a mobile phone. So in all honesty, if I had the newest version of the Samsung S series, those would perform way better than this phone was, and probably would make the experience 10 times better. But if you have an old phone and you want to build this project, I can guarantee you can still have fun. So tell me, would you build this